everyone, welcome back to my channel. Quarantine, how are we doing? Thanks for asking. I've been doing great. I net around, 10 hours on Animal Crossing a day, about 4 hours on TikTok, and then maybe sometimes I'll read for another 3 hours. So in between all that time period, I usually try to find some time to work, like on my actual day job, but you know what, we give and we take. Yeah. So while in that little TikTok haze, I made a TikTok, I learned to dance. You can see my recent one that's on my Instagram right now. My handle is down below in the description box. Plug. I also saw a couple things like tag-like things that people did with shoes or makeup palettes or whatever else they had, and I thought I wanted to do it but here on YouTube. So this is the 10 questions about makeup palettes. I did change one question in this tag because I didn't want to use one palette twice. I wanted to use a different palette for each one, so the best way I could do that was to change a question. So the first question in this tag is your current favorite eyeshadow palette, and for me that is the Essentials palette by Violet Voss. I did get this in a boxy charm. This is actually part of the makeup products that I want to pan this year, and that is kind of what introduced me to it and what made me start picking it up more, and I'm so glad I did because I have been loving this. This is what the palette looks like from the inside. They are nice big pans and they are beautiful colors. The colors that I have been really into are probably the cream and pink over here, and then this quad right here I have just been loving. Amazing. I really enjoy this palette just because it does have both deeper tones and lighter tones to it, so I can really use this palette year round and get multiple different looks out of it. So I am really enjoying this palette, and hopefully I will pan one of these shades by the end of the year. Stay tuned. The next question is your most colorful palette, and for that I chose my Magic Mini by Juvia's Place. Can I just say how much I adore Juvia's Place? Their packaging, everything. Like, I have a couple different palettes of theirs, and I just get blown away by the quality of their products and how beautiful their packaging is and how inexpensive they make it. Like, it's just, if you haven't tried Juvia's Place, I definitely recommend it. This is the inside of the palette. It is very colorful palette. You have everything from warm tones to cool tones, and even in those different tones you have different shades. So you have much darker as well as much lighter in each kind of hue there. If I know I'm going to like a music festival or a concert, this is the palette I bring because you can just make so many fun looks with it. Next question is the palette that you use the most. For me, that is the Tati Beauty Textures Neutrals Volume 1. Textured Neutrals Volume 1 by Tati Beauty. That took me a while to get out. This honestly is probably one of my favorite palettes. If anybody asks me for a palette they should pick up, this is the first one I will say, because you can make so many looks out of it. It is perfect for daytime looks, nighttime looks, to the office looks, out clubbing looks. You can make a colorful look with it. It's just so versatile, and I love it because of that. Ever since I got this, this is usually the only palette I travel with because it's the only palette I would ever need. It has everything from highlights in it as well as transitioning colors to eyeliner shades if I need it. Looks like this, and you have 6 color stories, and in each color story they are a different finish. So from matte to shimmer, which they call sequin, metallic to glitter. So like I said, you can literally make any look you want. I think this is a perfect palette for somebody that isn't really into makeup but wants to have a good high quality eyeshadow palette to use every day. This is what I would recommend. I have water this time, guys. Look at me being so healthy. Now when I drink water, I think of that one TikTok where it's like your organs after you drink one sip of water, and they're like,
"Thank you very much, that was very nice."
Like they're dying, and then, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I'm sorry, guys. This is a 25-year-old trying to explain what TikTok is to probably a bunch of, 10-year-olds. Let's move on to the next question because I am spiraling. Question 4 is your palette. Can't go a video without a burp. Sorry, Mom. Question 4 is your palette with your favorite packaging. Mine is the Tarte Foil Finger Paints. This is their shadow palette, and I just absolutely think this palette is gorgeous. It is the one that has a bunch of beads and rocks on the top that are glued down. The rest of the palette is golden color. This is what it looks like on the inside. You have your cream shadows in there. I just think this is an absolutely stunning palette, and it travels well, and for something to be so pretty and travel easily, it's just a win-win. Question 5 is the palette you really haven't touched yet. For me, that would be the Butter London palette. I got this in a BoxyCharm, and I've swatched it once and then never touched it again. It's a pretty palette. It's just not something I ever gravitate toward. It's very neutral in color, but it's just nothing that speaks to me. Like, I don't find myself reaching for this because when I look at it, it doesn't inspire me to create a look, which is different with all these other palettes. The moment I open them, I can think of looks to make. This, it's just... Next is the palette that is the newest in your collection. For me, that is the Jeffree Star Thirsty palette. I got this in the, what was it? I have no idea. It was one of his mystery boxes. This is what the inside of the palette looks like. If I didn't say Tati Beauty for my most used palette, I would probably say this one because I have been using this top row like it's no tomorrow. These shades right here, this is my jam. It is a really nice palette because with those you also have some nice neutral tones as well as a glitter line as well. I really haven't dived too much into this line of glitter, but these 2 rows I have been loving. The next question is the palette that you've had the longest, so your oldest palette. For me, that would be this palette, which is the Smashbox For 25 Years Our Lips Have Been Sealed palette. And this palette, it kind of pains me to say this because I begged for this palette. I wanted this so bad. I kept asking for it for Christmas. I did get it for Christmas, and I just don't use it as much as I think I thought I would. I still pick it up now and again, but it's probably expired by now, but I just don't have the heart to get rid of it because I know it is an expensive palette and I know how much I wanted it at the time, and it is a cool palette. This is the only one in the tag that is not a eyeshadow palette, and that is because it is a lip palette. So this is the inside. It has a huge mirror on one end, and then you have all your lip shades. Let me tell you, these are beautiful shades. I have used them and they come out just as pigmented as they are in this pot form. I just find that I will normally grab a tuba lipstick or a liquid lipstick before I will go into a palette and dirty a brush and something like that. I don't use it as much. This is definitely something that somebody would use if they had like a makeup kit and they were a professional. I'm not a professional, if you can't tell. I don't think I'll get rid of it just yet, but it definitely is the oldest one in my collection right now. The next question was the most expensive palette in your collection, and I really don't have any palettes that are blindingly expensive. Like, I don't have any Pat McGrath or Natasha Denona. They're usually all on the same playing field. If anything, I would have said that this Smashbox palette was the most expensive because I believe it is. Because of that, I switched this question to your favorite indie brand palette, and for me, that is Glam and Glow palette by Clarity Cosmetics. This is a wonderful, wonderful indie brand. They make beautiful eyeshadows. This palette itself is to die for. I feel myself reaching for this all the time. These metallic shades are literally blinding. Like, it's just such a gorgeous palette, and they are so pigmented and creamy and easy to blend, and I could not recommend this brand enough to anyone who is looking for an indie brand to dive into. The next one is your least expensive palette in your collection, and that would have to go to my Coastal Scents Smoky palette. This is, I don't know how much, my sister bought it for me, but it's definitely got to be the cheapest. It's in this plastic container, doesn't even have a mirror, and it has just 36 eyeshadows. Some are hit, some are miss. I really haven't dived too much into this since I made that video. This has to be my least expensive. I can't imagine anything else in my collection would top this. And last but not least, the last question is your smallest palette. And for me, that would be my Urban Decay Naked 2 Basics palette. This is just such a wee little palette. See, it just fits in the palm of your hand. It's so cute. I know I raved about this in one of my recent videos. I will tag it up here where I talk about it. I think that this is such an underrated product, and I will talk about in that video why I think it's so underrated, but definitely the smallest in my collection and one of my most favorites. So that about sums it up for my makeup palette tag. I will leave these questions down in the description box, and if you guys would like to do it, I would love to hear your answers in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up, as well as go ahead and click that subscribe button. I put out new videos every Thursday at 7 and occasionally on Mondays. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching. Bye!